Hey everyone, I'm BozzyBuilds, and welcome back to the channel. Last time we laid the foundation for our Eureka Springs theme park recreation, focusing on the charming Spring and Center Street intersection. Now it's time to tackle one of the town's most beloved landmarks, Basin Spring Park. This isn't just about recreating the park, it's about capturing its soul, its history, and the unique atmosphere that makes it so special. So we'll be meticulously crafting the pathways, landscaping, and surrounding buildings, bringing this peaceful oasis to life in Planet Coaster 2. Get ready to dive into the details as we begin our work on this beautiful park. Okay guys, getting started. I am starting with the Basin Spring Park sign. At the end of last episode, I went ahead and finished the foundation of the park path, the plaza area, and got that shape down, which I was so pleasantly surprised by the pathing system that I was able to do that and do the stairs and just have the edge of the plaza right up against the road, just a couple feet higher. Like in the previous game, I would not have been able to do that. So it's just... oh, it's beautiful. So then I cut out the pathways and made room for some of these planters, or flower beds, I should say, and tree bedding. Can't wait to put some trees in here. The sign itself could be better. I might need to check some other pieces. My familiarity with a lot of these pieces is still kind of basic at the moment. I've still been putting a lot of time into Planet Zoo, so I'm still kind of learning with these pieces right now. And this wall, the wall pieces, the Viking walls, amazing, beautiful texture. You're able to kind of switch them around, turn them upside down, change out the stone formation, and it just looks so realistic. So then I also cut out the pathways and made room for the Basin Spring Fountain. And there's a statue as well. I don't know the historical relevance of the statue, but I went ahead and put in my own. The fountain I started with just a unicorn piece because I didn't know what to put there yet, so that's why that is there. I'm going to finish the barrier of the plaza up to the road, put in some benches. I can't wait for real park benches in future DLC. Come on, Frontier. I just want a beautiful wooden park bench. I will replace those when that happens. And check these lights at night. Make sure that everything looks kosher at night. Not too bright, not too cool. And the Basin Spring Park is pretty special because it sits on one of the rare flat areas in the entire town. And the space is paved with concrete that most likely dates back to the city's original paving in the 1920s. And as well as, I'm considering all of these stone pieces to be limestone. There's limestone all over the town, but especially the park. And at the center of it all is this gorgeous circular ornamental fountain. And it's fed by a spring located about 8 to 10 feet underneath the ground. And it is the very spring that inspired the founding of Eureka Springs. Eureka! And there was belief that the spring had healing powers. That's what garnered so much attention to Eureka in its beginning days. And while that's faded over time, the park itself remains an iconic landmark, marking the town's origins. Plus, with all of its shady trees and just vintage elements, it functions perfectly as the town's square. So I thought it would function perfectly as my theme park square. At least one of them. And the park was paved in the 1920s, but it was established in 1890. So I'm just so curious what it looked like before everything was built and paved, and it was just this park in the woods with a magical spring fountain in the center. Like, what were those vibes? And people coming from all across the region for healing, curative waters and wellness treatments, resort time. Now this stage here, I'm not entirely sure when it was originally built, but the stairs on the sides were so tedious to have to try to curve and do. I don't know if there's a better way to do it, but I think I managed okay. I think I'll cover up those discrepancies with some barriers eventually. And then the barriers up front of the stage, there'll be a second level behind it eventually. All of that is limestone in real life. Topping it in the game with this marble slab, just because I like the texture a little bit more. Add some variation. And then I'm going to go ahead and put in my planters in front of the stage, my flower bedding. It is a little bit under presented in real life, so I'm amplifying it a little bit. I'm going to make it cute. I will be taking artistic liberties here and there, as any Eurekan would understand. And this is my first rock usage in the park. Trying to use these aquatic ones to be a nice flat foundation, clipping underneath the marble to kind of blend in with the terrain. I love using rocks and any natural elements in these games. It's what really lured me to start playing them in the first place, was recreating natural landscapes. And with the scaling, the rocks, I mean, I'm able to really do exactly what I need to with them, which is pretty amazing. And moving back to the stage, I think I got really lucky with these roof pieces because this is almost exactly how it looks like in real life. In real life, I would say the curvature is a little bit flatter, but I mean, for all intents and purposes, I just had to lay down like 6 pieces and there was the roof. And moving on to our shrubbery and landscaping. Very basic for right now. In real life, there's not a lot of lavish stuff. So right now I'm just kind of basically going off of the images I get on my street view on Google Maps, and then trying to incorporate all of that as realistically as possible. And then eventually I think I'll go back in and really make things a little bit more fantastical. This is Planet Coaster after all. And I'm going to finish the second level terrain barrier for behind the stage. This is a little pathway that you can go down to. I don't know if it actually connects quite like it does here in the game, but this was my improvisation to make it as functional as possible. I wanted people to be able to somehow get to the stage, or have performers be on the stage. And here I'm going to be building a little water fountain, just so people can get a nice drink of water somewhere in the park, not have to go into one of the shops and buy a bottle if you don't have to. Alright, and we essentially got our stage back wall finished. I think eventually I'm going to build the dress. It's like there's not dressing rooms, but there's like storage units on the left and right hand side. And I did not do that in this episode, but I might finish that at some point. And we're going to put out some more lamp posts. Make sure our guests have some good lighting for our nighttime adventures. I would say Eureka Springs is just incredible at night. like absolutely mystical. Very Scooby-Doo, very Halloween, even when it's not Halloween. Alright, and now I'm really pulling out the terrain. This whole area behind the park is just kind of a big mountainous hump of forest and park. And it's really not built out yet, so I'm just pulling out all the terrain, really trying to give this scale. I have some drone images that are helping me out. And laying out the rocks for behind our stage. There's like 3 giant chunks kind of sticking out of the terrain that create this beautiful backdrop for the stage. And then this is going to be our final product. Skipped a lot of that footage because it was a lot of trial and error. And I think this is a good skeleton for right now. I'll probably do some trails up there eventually, as well as our first roller coaster. It's going to be up behind the woods, and then it will trail down and create more of an image and backdrop for the stage. Very excited for that. And then we do have 2 buildings over on the left-hand side of the park that I'm really excited to get started on. The first is a brick building right up this staircase. It's Basin Park Luxury Lodging. Just luxury lodging units. And then there's a wooden house right next to it, kind of up a level. And I'm curious as to if these are also luxury lodging units. They're owned by the same establishment or not, or if it's just a house. Either way, it's beautiful. It has a lot of ornate details. And it would be so lovely to stay here a couple nights and wake up in the morning and look out over the park. Anyways, I'm going to work on these facades for several minutes. I'll be back. Real quick, I will say, the door selections in the game are probably one of my bigger gripes. I just don't feel like there's a lot of versatility going on, at least yet. Maybe with future content. But if we don't get some new stuff soon, I think I'm going to have to do some custom pieces. But that should be a lot easier now that we're able to scale some stuff. Maybe I can make some interesting doors. And now we're going to go ahead and get started on the second story. Planet Coaster 1 had the heavy stone coin pieces that you could use to accent your wall corners and for your stone structures, castles, the like. This game doesn't have that, at least yet. But I realized I could use these marble pillars and scale them down and kind of create my own structure with it. I think I might go back and do that to that Flatiron building from the first episode, because technically that's what it looks like, and it would just look a lot better. And you'll notice that every once in a while I like to jump around. I'm over here just kind of adding some details to the park and the background of the plaza. I don't know, jumping around helps things from becoming too monotonous and, I don't know, helps keep my brain feeling fresh. So I do apologize if it's a little confusing, but I generally stay around the same area. Then we're going to put in some trash cans or trash bins and some benches as well. We'll do these stone. I like these, the stone ones for up against the barrier. And now I'm jumping back over to finish our lodging units. And again, I gotta tell you, I love these Viking stone wall pieces. They just look so realistic. I want more of stuff like this. And then I'm going to build a couple of pad mount transformers that are up here on this first level to help give electricity to the park. They didn't really have anything that looked like a transformer in our pieces, so I just kind of made my own. And we'll go ahead and get some lighting in here. I think I might spend a day or two trying to recreate just some, I don't know specifically, but just making some art pieces with random pieces in the game and then using them to display in the park. There's tons of artists that live in Eureka Springs, and during festivals or just different times of the year, they'll display pieces up here on the second level. I wish there were some wall pieces or flat roof pieces that were concave and not just circular, but the opposite, so I could do these corners a little bit more neatly, but it's still manageable. You can still make it. All right. And rounding out this hillside, mountainside. And we're going to build our staircase up to our wooden house here on the Oh, and I was so happy I could get this staircase done. That was like, I was looking at the pictures. I'm like, if I can achieve this section, this is going to be really awesome. And yeah. totally realized right here that I could change the color of these rocks. Did not notice that. So many more color change options in this game than previous Planet games. It's just lovely. Yeah, again with the door, not my favorite option. Didn't really like any of the others. But I should just get my hands dirty and start making some custom doors. There are so many Victorian homes all over Eureka Springs, so I'm going to need some versatility over the course of the next few weeks and months. And here I'll finish this sort of staging platform before the final ascent into the house. We'll see if I make it functional. I really want just hotel room units eventually in the game. That'd be awesome, because then I just pluck them in here and bam. And some more jumping around. More details here in the park. Just some added shrubbery and foliage, filling out the place, giving it some more depth and dynamic. I really love seeing this place fill out. It makes me feel like I'm there. While I'm really excited about this Eureka Springs project, I'm probably not going to put a timeline on it, because I want to take my time and truly capture, the character of the town. And I want to delve into the details, of each kind of nook and cranny that I decide to build, and making sure that every building and all the streets feel authentic. So I guess I'll take this time now to tell you all, I actually got a few other projects I've been working on over the years that I'll be sharing soon. And I'm really excited about it. One is a large-scale recreation that I was painstakingly crafting in Planet Coaster 1. But my frame rate started to drop, and I still had so much more I wanted to build. My original vision was way too large. I made that, common mistake. And I decided to move on and start a new project in Planet Zoo, which is another very large creation. But it's not a recreation, it's more inspired by a lot of paintings by a painter that I really love. So, yeah, I'm really excited to share all of those with you. So expect to see them in the coming weeks and months. But for now, I believe Eureka Springs and Planet Coaster 2 have my full attention. And then we're going to finish up the facades to our lodging units at the Basin Spring Park. And I think this week will serve as a part 1 to the Basin Spring Park location. And then next week we'll finish this up as well as the Basin Park Hotel exterior. And this has been so much fun to build. I love rebuilding old-timey architecture in these games, and especially doing it, recreating a place that I know so well is just a lot of fun. Alright everyone, that's a wrap for this episode. We've put in some solid work on Basin Spring Park. This episode was a bit longer, so I am curious. Did you find the length enjoyable? Let me know in the comments. I'm always looking for ways to improve. I used to watch these longer videos all the time when I was learning, so I hope you at least found it useful. Next week we'll be finishing up Basin Spring Park and the Basin Park Hotel. Then, we're finally tackling our first roller coaster. So get excited. See you in the next one. Take care.